Today, I want to talk about something that many of us have felt at one time or another, yet rarely speak about openly. When life throws us into the depths of hardship, when challenges pile up, and when we feel like we've lost control, it's common to feel broken. Feeling broken, however, is not an end, it's part of the human experience, a phase that can be navigated and ultimately learned from. One of the most significant steps toward healing and rebuilding ourselves begins with a simple yet powerful concept: acknowledging and accepting our feelings. This approach may seem too subtle or even counterproductive when our instinct might tell us to resist pain and fight back. However, acknowledgement and acceptance offer a path to self-compassion, clarity, and eventually strength. When we're feeling broken, it's natural to want to deny or suppress painful emotions. Society often teaches us that resilience means being strong, which is frequently interpreted as pushing our feelings aside or pretending they don't exist. But in truth, resilience begins with honesty, with acknowledging what's actually happening inside of us. By recognizing and naming our emotions, we create a space where we can fully confront them rather than avoid them. Instead of denying our sadness, frustration, anger, or disappointment, we give ourselves permission to feel these emotions. This isn't about wallowing or letting emotions take over. It's about understanding them and allowing ourselves to process them in a healthy way. Emotions are, in a way, signals from our mind and body trying to alert us to something deeper. For example, feeling sadness might point to a loss we haven't properly grieved. Feeling frustration might indicate that our needs or values are not being met. By acknowledging these emotions instead of ignoring them, we can start identifying the underlying causes. This level of self-awareness is essential for genuine healing. When we take the time to truly feel and understand our emotions, we also gain insights into ourselves. We start to recognize patterns, pinpoint areas in our lives that need adjustment, and identify specific aspects of our experiences that are particularly painful or draining. Acceptance, however, goes beyond mere acknowledgement. It's about letting go of the judgment we place on our feelings. We often label emotions like sadness, anger, or fear as bad, which can lead to guilt or shame for feeling them. But emotions, by themselves, are not good or bad, they are simply part of the human experience. By reframing our perspective to see these feelings as neither right nor wrong, we free ourselves from the pressure of always needing to fix or eliminate them. Acceptance allows us to be okay with where we are at this moment, even if that place isn't exactly where we'd like to be. It's about saying, I feel this way, and that's okay. This act of acceptance also fosters a sense of self-compassion. Often when we feel broken, we are our harshest critics, piling blame or judgment on ourselves. We tell ourselves we should be stronger or handle things differently. But true healing doesn't come from harsh criticism, it comes from kindness. When we accept our feelings without judgment, we are essentially showing ourselves the same compassion we would extend to a friend going through a hard time. We wouldn't berate them or tell them to snap out of it. We would encourage them to acknowledge how they feel, to take their time, and to know that healing is a gradual process. By extending this gentleness to ourselves, we create a nurturing environment where healing can begin. There is also an element of courage in acknowledging and accepting our feelings. In a world that often equates success with invulnerability, admitting our pain or sense of brokenness can feel like weakness. But in reality, facing our emotions requires immense bravery. It takes courage to sit with our discomfort, to dig into painful memories or experiences, and to recognize that we might not have all the answers yet. This courage to accept our emotional state is not a surrender to pain, but a stepping stone toward transformation. It allows us to break free from the trap of denying our feelings, which only prolongs suffering and prevents us from moving forward. As we work on acknowledging and accepting our feelings, we may also find clarity and perspective in our lives. Often, when we ignore our emotions, we end up reacting to them in ways that we don't fully understand. Unacknowledged feelings can seep into our interactions with others, affect our productivity, and manifest as stress or physical discomfort. By consciously acknowledging and processing these emotions, we gain a better understanding of what's really going on beneath the surface. With time, we can identify specific triggers, recognize what makes us feel this way, and start addressing the root causes. Acknowledgement and acceptance do not necessarily mean that the pain will disappear instantly or that life will suddenly become easy. This process takes time, and it's natural to feel moments of sadness, frustration, or fear. But by taking this step, we also allow ourselves to move forward, to gradually let go of what is holding us back, and to create a path toward a renewed sense of self. As we continue practicing this approach, we build resilience, not by avoiding challenges, but by learning to cope with them in a healthy, sustainable way. In conclusion, feeling broken is not a sign of failure, but an opportunity to rebuild from a place of understanding, empathy, and self-respect. When we acknowledge and accept our emotions, we open ourselves up to growth, healing, and greater self-awareness. This journey may not be easy, and it may come with ups and downs, but each step we take in understanding our emotions is a step closer to inner peace and resilience. Embracing this process is a powerful act of self-care and strength, reminding us that even in our most challenging moments, we have the capacity to heal, grow, and find meaning in our experiences. When life feels overwhelming, when we're weighed down by hardships, it's natural to want to retreat inward and try to handle things on our own. Sometimes in these moments, we convince ourselves that isolation will make us stronger, that keeping our burdens to ourselves will prevent us from being a burden to others. But one of the most powerful and healing steps we can take during times of brokenness is to reach out for support. Connecting with others, sharing our struggles, and allowing others to be there for us can be transformative in ways we might not expect. Reaching out, though it may feel vulnerable, can be the key to finding our way back to wholeness. When we're struggling, our minds can become clouded with negative thoughts and self-doubt. It's all too easy to feel isolated in our pain, to believe that nobody else could possibly understand what we're going through. This isolation can make it difficult to gain perspective, to see a way out, or even to remember that healing is possible. By reaching out to others, we can start breaking down those walls of isolation. Whether it's a close friend, a family member, or a trusted confidante, sharing our feelings can provide immediate relief by reminding us that we're not alone. Just the act of putting our emotions into words and expressing them to someone else can lighten our emotional load. One of the remarkable things about reaching out is that it creates an opportunity for understanding and empathy to flourish. When we share our struggles, we often find that others have been through similar experiences or have felt similar emotions. Even if their stories are different, people are frequently able to empathize, to relate, or to offer insight based on their own life experiences. This shared understanding can provide a powerful sense of connection and belonging, letting us know that while our struggles may feel unique, they are also part of the broader human experience. This can be incredibly comforting and validating, helping us to feel seen and understood in a way that encourages healing. Reaching out for support also allows us to gain fresh perspectives on our problems. When we're feeling broken, our minds can become caught in a loop of negative thinking, where the problem or pain seems insurmountable. But when we talk to others, they can help us see things from different angles. A friend or family member might gently challenge our negative beliefs, offer solutions we hadn't considered, or simply remind us of our strengths. Sometimes all it takes is an outside voice to help us see a different path forward. This doesn't mean that others have all the answers or that they can fix things for us, but their input can provide valuable insights that we may struggle to find on our own. In addition to emotional support, reaching out can also lead to practical assistance. When we're going through a difficult time, tasks that might normally be manageable, like keeping up with responsibilities, taking care of ourselves, or making decisions, can feel overwhelming. Those who care about us are often willing to lend a hand, whether it's helping with a chore, providing a distraction, or offering advice on next steps. Accepting this kind of support doesn't mean we're weak or incapable, it simply means we're human. There's strength in recognizing when we need help and allowing others to step in. Sometimes that practical support can give us the space and energy we need to focus on our own healing. Of course, reaching out for support isn't always easy. It can feel vulnerable to admit that we're struggling, to open up about feelings that we might usually keep private. Many of us worry that we'll be judged, rejected, or seen as weak. However, true strength often comes from vulnerability. When we allow ourselves to be open, we give others a chance to show up for us, and we build trust in our relationships. More often than not, those we reach out to are grateful that we trusted them enough to share our struggles. They don't see us as weak, they see us as courageous for seeking connection in our time of need. This willingness to be vulnerable can deepen our relationships, making them more meaningful and fulfilling. Reaching out for support also has benefits for our mental and physical health. Numerous studies have shown that social connection is one of the strongest predictors of mental well-being. When we have people we can turn to, our stress levels decrease, our immune system strengthens, and our ability to cope with challenges improves. This is because humans are inherently social creatures. We thrive on connection, and it plays a critical role in how we process and overcome adversity. Emotional support isn't just comforting, it's scientifically proven to improve resilience and help us recover more quickly from life's hardships. In moments of brokenness, reaching out can also remind us of our own value. When others show up for us, listen to us, or offer their support, they're indirectly affirming our worth. They're reminding us that we're cared for, valued, and important to them. This reminder can be especially powerful when we're feeling low and doubting ourselves. By accepting support, we allow ourselves to experience the kindness and compassion that we might struggle to give ourselves. In turn, this can inspire us to be more compassionate toward ourselves, encouraging self-acceptance and understanding. In conclusion, reaching out for support when we feel broken is an act of courage, strength, and self-care. It allows us to break down the walls of isolation, gain fresh perspectives, and access both emotional and practical help. While it may feel vulnerable, this openness creates deeper connections and strengthens our relationships. It reminds us of our own worth and that we're not alone on our journey. Reaching out may not solve every problem immediately, but it provides a foundation of support and understanding that can make all the difference. When we allow others to be there for us, we allow healing to begin, and we empower ourselves to rebuild with the love and encouragement of those who truly care. In times of emotional struggle, when we feel broken or overwhelmed, we may instinctively turn to self-criticism, viewing our vulnerability as a failure or a weakness. Many of us have a habit of being our own harshest critics, berating ourselves for feeling low or not meeting certain expectations. However, true healing begins with practicing self-compassion, treating ourselves with kindness, patience, and understanding in the same way we would treat a close friend. Embracing self-compassion during difficult times is not only a gentle and powerful approach to self-care, but is also essential for genuine recovery and growth. Self-compassion is about shifting our mindset from judgment to acceptance. Often when we feel broken, we add layers of guilt and shame to our pain. We tell ourselves that we should be stronger or that we should get over it more quickly. But by practicing self-compassion, we allow ourselves to step out of this cycle of self-blame. Instead, we create a mental space where it's okay to feel exactly how we feel, without the pressure to be perfect or invulnerable. We recognize that experiencing hardship is a part of being human, and this understanding helps us accept our feelings rather than push them away or criticize ourselves for having them. One way to practice self-compassion is through self-kindness. Just as we wouldn't harshly judge a friend who's going through a hard time, we can learn to extend that same kindness to ourselves. Self-kindness involves being gentle with our words and thoughts, especially during moments when we're feeling low. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm weak for feeling this way," we can replace this thought with, "I'm going through something challenging, and it's okay to feel this way." These small acts of self-kindness may seem subtle, but they are powerful. They shift our internal dialogue from one of criticism to one of understanding, which fosters an environment where healing can begin. Another important aspect of self-compassion is the recognition of shared humanity. When we feel broken, it's common to feel isolated, as if we're the only ones going through a particular hardship. However, self-compassion reminds us that pain and suffering are universal experiences. Everyone goes through difficult times, and everyone has moments when they feel vulnerable or defeated. By acknowledging this, we can release some of the burden of isolation and realize that we're not alone in our struggles. This perspective can be incredibly comforting, as it reminds us that our challenges are part of the shared human experience, and we are all in this journey of life together, learning and growing along the way. Mindfulness is also a key component of self-compassion. Practicing mindfulness means being present with our emotions without allowing them to take over completely. When we feel broken, it's easy to get swept up in our pain or let our negative thoughts spiral out of control. Mindfulness allows us to observe these feelings and thoughts without judgment or attachment. Instead of drowning in sadness, frustration, or anger, we can take a step back and acknowledge them as passing experiences rather than defining truths. By observing our emotions mindfully, we give ourselves space to feel without becoming overwhelmed. This balanced awareness helps us approach our struggles with clarity, patience, and the understanding that, like all emotions, these too will eventually pass. Self-compassion also empowers us to set boundaries and prioritize our own well-being. Often, when we're feeling broken, we may try to please others or meet external expectations, ignoring our own needs in the process. However, practicing self-compassion means recognizing that we have limits and giving ourselves permission to say no when necessary. It's okay to take a step back, to rest, or to ask for space when we need it. By honoring our boundaries, we communicate to ourselves that our needs are valid and important. This isn't selfish, it's a necessary part of healing and recovery. Self-compassionate boundary setting not only protects our mental and emotional energy, but also helps us build resilience. Moreover, self-compassion encourages self-acceptance. When we feel broken, we might fixate on our perceived flaws or imperfections, believing that they are the reason for our pain. However, self-compassion reminds us that we are worthy of love and kindness exactly as we are, with all our imperfections. This doesn't mean we won't strive to grow or improve, but it allows us to approach ourselves from a place of unconditional acceptance. Accepting ourselves, even in our most vulnerable state, can be a profoundly healing experience. We learn to see ourselves as whole, even when we're struggling. And this self-acceptance builds a strong foundation of self-worth that doesn't depend on external achievements or validation. Self-compassion is also deeply linked to resilience. By treating ourselves kindly, recognizing our shared humanity, and practicing mindfulness, we build a more supportive internal environment. When setbacks happen, as they inevitably do in life, we're better equipped to bounce back because we know how to nurture ourselves through tough times. Self-compassion provides us with the emotional tools we need to handle life's ups and downs. Instead of being paralyzed by self-doubt or harsh criticism, we can approach challenges with a balanced perspective, seeing them as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. In moments of struggle, self-compassion can even help us rediscover purpose and meaning. When we extend kindness and understanding to ourselves, we start to see our hardships not as defining failures, but as experiences that shape our character and strength. This mindset shift can transform the way we view our brokenness. Rather than seeing it as something to fix, we come to see it as a meaningful part of our journey. This doesn't mean we ignore the pain or pretend everything is okay. Instead, we honor our experiences, seeing them as a natural part of life's tapestry. Through self-compassion, we find a way to grow through our struggles, recognizing that they play a role in shaping who we are. In conclusion, self-compassion is not a passive act of self-indulgence, it's a powerful tool that fosters healing, resilience, and inner peace. By practicing self-kindness, recognizing our shared humanity, being mindful, and honoring our needs, we create a supportive inner environment that allows us to face life's challenges with courage and grace. Self-compassion teaches us that we are worthy of kindness and respect, even in our lowest moments. When we approach ourselves with compassion, we build a foundation of inner strength that can withstand life's storms. Ultimately, self-compassion helps us transform brokenness into a journey of self-discovery, growth, and profound self-acceptance. When we feel broken, it's easy to become focused on the darkness around us, on the pain and the sense of being lost. In those moments, we may struggle to remember that within us lies an incredible resilience, a strength that has carried us through previous challenges and will continue to guide us through future ones. One of the most empowering steps we can take during our times of hardship is to reconnect with our inner strength. This process of rediscovering our resilience doesn't require us to deny our pain or ignore the difficulty of the situation. Rather, it involves recognizing that we are more than our struggles, and that within us lies the capacity to endure and rise again. By consciously tapping into our inner strength, we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. First, it's important to understand that resilience isn't about avoiding pain or hardship, it's about how we respond to them. Life's challenges, both big and small, test us in ways we never expect. In the face of adversity, it can be tempting to think of ourselves as powerless or defeated. However, resilience is not a trait reserved only for the strong or the lucky. It is a skill that can be developed through experience, awareness, and effort. It's easy to forget our inner strength when we are overwhelmed by pain. But when we pause and reflect on our past experiences, we can see that we've already overcome obstacles. We've faced setbacks, endured heartache, and pushed through difficult moments before, and each time we've come out stronger, wiser, and more capable. The strength to persevere was always inside us, it just needed to be rediscovered. One way to reconnect with our inner strength is to reflect on our past triumphs. Even when we feel in our lowest, remembering the times when we've successfully navigated adversity can help reignite our confidence. These moments serve as proof that we have faced challenges and overcome them. When we remind ourselves of these triumphs, whether they are big or small, we affirm our ability to endure and move forward. This practice of reflection helps us understand that resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but rather about growing through them and finding a way to continue despite them. By acknowledging our past successes, we reestablish our belief in our own capacity to handle whatever comes our way. Another way to reconnect with our inner strength is by focusing on our values and beliefs. When we feel broken, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. We may get swept up in the emotional turmoil of the moment, and it can become difficult to remember why we keep going, what motivates us, or what gives our lives meaning. However, taking time to connect with our core values and beliefs can provide us with a source of strength that transcends the temporary pain we're experiencing. Whether it's the love of family, the desire to make a difference in the world, or a commitment to personal growth, our values act as an anchor in times of turmoil. When we align ourselves with our deepest beliefs, we tap into a reservoir of strength that can guide us through the darkest moments. These values help us see beyond our immediate struggles, reminding us of our purpose and giving us the courage to keep moving forward. In addition to reflecting on our past successes and values, it's crucial to recognize that resilience doesn't always mean pushing through every challenge alone. Sometimes it's about acknowledging that our strength is enhanced by the support we receive from others. We often think of resilience as an individual trait, but it is just as much about the connections we nurture with people around us. Seeking support during times of brokenness doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. Our relationships, whether with family, friends, or even our community, are an essential part of our resilience. Through these relationships, we gain perspective, encouragement, and understanding. Others can help remind us of our strength when we forget it, and their presence can make the burdens of life feel lighter. Resilience is not just about inner fortitude, it is also about the courage to lean on others when we need help. We are stronger when we recognize that we are not alone in our struggles. Reconnecting with our inner strength also involves embracing self-care. When we're feeling broken, it's easy to neglect ourselves, focusing solely on our pain and the obstacles we face. However, self-care is an essential part of nurturing resilience. Taking the time to care for ourselves, whether through physical activities, mental relaxation, or simply getting adequate rest, helps us recharge and regain our strength. This isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is fine. It's about acknowledging our needs and taking steps to replenish our energy. When we engage in self-care, we send a message to ourselves that we are worth the effort, that we deserve to be nurtured, and that we have the ability to heal. Caring for ourselves in times of brokenness is an act of resilience in itself, as it reinforces our belief in our ability to recover and grow stronger. Another crucial aspect of tapping into our inner strength is cultivating a growth mindset. When faced with challenges, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we are defined by our struggles, that they will determine our future or our worth. However, resilience thrives when we adopt a mindset that views setbacks as opportunities for growth, rather than as roadblocks. When we feel broken, it can seem as though life has lost its meaning or purpose. In the face of emotional, physical, or mental struggles, we may experience a sense of disconnection from the things that once brought us joy, fulfillment, or a sense of direction. Yet, one of the most powerful ways to navigate through such times is by remembering that there is always the possibility of finding new purpose. It is not uncommon to feel lost, confused, or uncertain. But within these feelings lies the potential to rediscover what truly matters to us. Rediscovering purpose is not about returning to a previous version of ourselves or finding a grand, sweeping meaning in life all at once. It's about taking small, intentional steps toward uncovering what makes us feel alive, passionate, and connected. This journey toward purpose can be transformative, offering us a guiding light through the darkness of brokenness. The first step in rediscovering purpose is allowing ourselves to acknowledge the feelings of disconnection that arise when we feel broken. Often we are conditioned to push away uncomfortable emotions, to distract ourselves from the pain in the hopes that it will eventually dissipate. However, in doing so, we may miss the opportunity to fully process these feelings and explore the underlying causes of our sense of brokenness. By allowing ourselves to feel and sit with the discomfort, we create space for healing and growth. It is only when we acknowledge where we are that we can begin to understand why we are there. This understanding, in turn, allows us to see that our pain is not meaningless. Rather, it can serve as a catalyst for growth and change. As we make peace with the feelings of brokenness, we create an environment in which our true desires, values, and aspirations can begin to emerge. Once we accept our feelings, we can begin the process of reconnecting with the things that once brought us purpose. During difficult times, it's easy to forget the things that we used to care about, the hobbies, goals, relationships, or causes that fueled our passion. But reconnecting with these things, even in small ways, can help us feel more aligned with our authentic selves. This doesn't mean we need to rush into full action or expect to immediately feel the same level of enthusiasm we once had. Instead, it's about exploring what still resonates with us. Perhaps it's an activity we once enjoyed but stopped doing due to time constraints or other priorities. Maybe it's a value or belief that we've neglected in the face of adversity. By gently reintroducing these aspects of our lives, we can reignite the spark that connects us to a deeper sense of purpose. Whether it's through small acts of kindness, creative endeavors, or engaging in causes that matter to us, we begin to reawaken the parts of ourselves that are aligned with our true desires. In addition to reconnecting with past passions, rediscovering purpose often involves setting new intentions and goals. Feeling broken doesn't mean that we must remain stagnant or stuck in the past. In fact, one of the most healing things we can do is to look toward the future with a renewed sense of possibility. Setting new goals, even small ones, provides us with direction and a sense of forward momentum. These goals may not need to be grand or life-changing right away. They can simply be steps that help us feel more grounded and in control of our own journey. Whether it's pursuing a new career, learning a new skill, or cultivating a healthier lifestyle, these goals give us something to strive for and remind us that we have the power to shape our own future. They provide us with a roadmap for moving forward, giving our lives structure and meaning as we begin to emerge from the fog of brokenness. Equally important is the process of reflection during our journey toward rediscovering purpose. It's easy to become consumed by the pressures of daily life, to get caught up in responsibilities, and to neglect our deeper desires and needs. Taking the time to pause, reflect, and ask ourselves what truly matters can help guide us back toward a sense of purpose. Reflection doesn't need to be an overwhelming or time-consuming practice. It can be as simple as setting aside a few minutes each day to journal, meditate, or just quietly observe our thoughts and emotions. By doing so, we gain clarity on what's important and allow ourselves the space to dream again. This reflection helps us reconnect with our intrinsic motivation, reminding us that even in moments of hardship, we have the capacity to create meaningful change in our lives. Furthermore, rediscovering purpose often involves embracing change and letting go of what no longer serves us. When we feel broken, we may find ourselves holding on to relationships, beliefs, or habits that have become toxic or unfulfilling. Letting go of these things is not always easy, but it is a necessary step in making room for new growth. Holding on to what no longer aligns with our values or aspirations can prevent us from moving forward. Sometimes we need to release what is no longer serving us in order to make space for the new, for the things that can bring us joy and fulfillment. This could mean distancing ourselves from people or environments that drain us, reevaluating our priorities, or challenging long-held beliefs that no longer resonate. Though change can be uncomfortable, it is often through this process of release that we create the opportunity to invite new purpose into our lives. Lastly, as we work toward rediscovering our purpose, it's important to remember that the journey is not always linear. We may experience setbacks, moments of doubt, or feelings of uncertainty along the way, and that's okay. Purpose is not a fixed destination. It is a dynamic, evolving process that unfolds over time. Some days we may feel more aligned with our purpose than others. But the key is to remain open to the possibility of change and growth. Just as the seasons change, so too does our sense of purpose. And sometimes it is through the brokenness that we uncover the most profound revelations about ourselves. The path may not always be clear, but as long as we keep moving forward with intention, we will find our way. In conclusion, rediscovering purpose when we feel broken is a deeply personal and transformative journey. It requires us to acknowledge our pain, reconnect with the things that once brought us joy, set new goals, and reflect on what truly matters. By embracing change, letting go of what no longer serves us, and remaining open to the possibility of growth, we can rediscover a sense of meaning and direction. Brokenness may feel overwhelming in the moment, but it can also serve as an invitation to reconnect with our true selves and uncover a deeper sense of purpose. The process may take time, but through patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to rediscovering what drives us, we can emerge stronger, more aligned with our authentic selves, and ready to embrace the possibilities of the future.